Hello and welcome to podcast 356 of 5-Star Potential, your weekly Football Manager podcast. I'm Doop, and on this week's pod, I'm joined by Paul, aka Mad FM, Matt, aka Nerd Phonic, and Dave, aka Top Shagger. How are we doing, gentlemen? Are we good? Are we well?
Is he?
All
Sorry,
good.
Dave's just been bragging about shagging, so I had to bring it up.
Oh,
Wow. I mean,
wow.
Jesus.
Like
Remind me
rhymes,
to
man,
never
don't you?
mention anything ever again, ever. Ever.
Well, on this week's pod, we'll move swiftly on. We are all checking in with our save updates. Also, we'll spotlight a bit of Mad's wonderful thread that he wrote on the Euro 2024 Wonder Kids and some predictions with the opening fixture just days away. And if there's time to have Mad do a shit quiz, then we'll probably cancel it anyway. But before we do that, what we've been up to this week, who's your winners, who's your losers? David, what are you saying, son?
Shagging.
I don't know. Oh, to be fair, Wolves have just announced they're actually signing someone,
Amazing.
so we are winning. I don't know how good he's on FM.
Was that probably
Rodrigo
as well?
Gomez.
Is that all that extra
Yeah.
cash they
Yeah, but
got
always
from
gives you a
the
nice indication.
ticket price increases? Yeah, so that they can afford to buy.
Ticket
Great
price
banter,
increases.
mate.
Oh, and the loser of the week is the rest of the Premier League because the VAR vote was 19-1. Wolves were the only team that wanted to scrap in.
Not even
The other
Forest.
19.
Not even Forest.
Yeah, I thought Forest to go.
It was, yeah, exactly. So
That is mental when you think about it, though.
don't want no one complaining about VAR on this podcast ever again, apart from me. I'm allowed.
All right, okay.
We didn't vote. Like they didn't ask us to vote.
It's not a problem for me
I
still,
give a fuck.
currently.
It's your
I-
club. You're a fan of Newcastle United's
I
opinion.
just cannot wait for week one. Onana comes out, punches fucking one of your players in the head. We go on to score the winner, and
Again.
it doesn't get picked up.
That's already happened, mate.
Bless you.
Mm.
Okay, awesome. I think my win of the week is just all the nations going out to the Euros and having fun. Dave, you're excited, I guess. Mad, you're excited. Which group
Malta,
or
yeah,
island in?
Oh, mate.
Group Z.
Oh, okay.
Special
Sorry,
group.
man. I'm sure you'll be selling. You'll be cheering England on, right?
I prefer.
You are
not to
half
speak.
English, remember. There is heritage.
Better.
You're allowed,
Mm.
I think. Oh, that's
Dunno.
wavering.
I live with the French, so you know what that's like.
Okay.
With a
Well, we'll-
French.
Yes.
I will concede, and we'll move on to save updates as a party.
Oh, hang on. I had a win for the week.
Were we,
okay.
were we alive this week, Matt? How was your week, Matt?
Oh, that was great. Yeah. No,
We forgot you existed, mate.
apparently,
One week fucking back, and he's trying to call the shots again. Fuck me.
I'm now upgraded from alive to no longer farting in public when I do leg press at the gym. So
I would also say, Matt, we had a good response to having you back on, mate. We did have a good response. I
the
had a
3
few people
comments
in
on a
my
YouTube
stream.
video.
Yeah,
Excellent.
but I had
Did
some
he?
comments in my stream. I got stopped by a man in Tesco's as well. That's a lie. I
mean,
don't shop in
to see
I was
Tesco's.
that.
gonna say,
Um,
I don't think that's true, is it?
in Waitrose. It'll be fine.
Also not true.
No, it's not true. I have somebody that shops for me, Matt. So.
Aldi.
Go on, Matt. What was your winner of the week? How's your week been, mate?
That was my winner of the week. You've just had
Oh,
it. It didn't shit
Oh, he
myself in the
doesn't
gym.
shit himself
So,
at the gym.
you thought I was joking. No, I
Is this
can't
the
have
first
caffeine.
week in a while? Or?
No. This is like I can't have caffeine on days when I know I'm gonna be using the leg press because it puts you in a very precarious position if you're not familiar with the leg press.
This podcast.
So
Show us there, Matt, how it's done.
I'm not going to because I
We'll save that
can't
one for
guarantee I'll be able to do
afterwards.
it in a dignified way that will be.
So that one person that commented many weeks ago saying, I want to get to know the hosts a little bit more and what they're doing in their
There you
daily
go.
life." There you go.
More for your bargain
All of
for.
us. Shagging and shooting.
And at the
Shagging
same
shitting.
time.
Podcast title
That's the
sorted.
title. Yeah.
That might
Mad-
be. I mean, some people do that, don't they? They do the Cleveland steamer. That is shitting on someone's
Can
chest.
we move on?
I mean,
I don't know what's
mean,
going on here.
there you go.
Welcome back, Matt. Great to have you here.
All I'm saying
You
is I
obviously
got
didn't
a
listen to
couple
last week. I ruined it within 3 minutes. So
I did listen.
Okay, Mad. Do you want to add anything to that, or should we just move swiftly on?
I don't know. I haven't been shagging or shitting, which is good.
But you got COVID, so
Oh, pig.
I got COVID. As we
Oh.
sit here, as of 48 hours ago, yeah, myself and my missus both tested positive for COVID. That's still a thing, apparently.
do you know what the best
And
thing
yeah,
is, right? A bit like his clap sync. It's just so far out of sync with everybody else. Everyone else at that
I know,
COVID
yeah.
years
It's
ago,
like 3
man.
years ago.
I know,
Yeah.
I know, yeah.
Well, it's not
Hey, look.
2021. It's not cool anymore.
We get there in the end. But yeah, I've actually been a bit sick with it. So, like, the positive was I streamed Football Manager again this week.
Yeah.
I even had a special guest on my stream, which we might talk about. And I was writing about FM. But the last 2 or 3 days I was hoping to stream, but like my voice was gone, freaking all swollen and stuffed up. So no,
All I can
no
say
FM.
is thank God for that.
Yes, you're welcome.
Cheers.
COVID.
Okay, well, we
Props
might
to
as well go there as you've kind of dangled the fruit in front of one's face, a bit like when Matt's on the leg press. What's the save update then, Matt? Who was your special guest, buddy?
Yeah, well, obviously I was on holidays, so that's why I wasn't here for 1 or 2 of the pods over the last few weeks.
Two of my favourite pods,
which
I'll
is
be
good. I believe so, yeah. Not because Matt was back anyway after what he's just spent the last few minutes talking about. So I didn't get to play a whole lot of FM because I was on holidays. Then he came back and I was like, yes, let's do it. We'll go straight live. I hadn't played any of the save offline, so it was like, okay, let's just do it all online on stream. So we'd finished the season. The last time I spoke about it, South Shields, Region Air save, local players only, finished season 1. And Doop, you'll remember with Glee, we had gotten to the playoffs and lost in like the second round or whatever of the playoff in like the 91st minute. So we didn't get promoted. And basically then went live to start doing a big bunch of admin. Literally about, 60-70% of the squad finishing up contracts. So you Doop, you know all about that at Siren. Complete overhaul needed. I think once we passed that 30th of June, there was like 8 players left in the squad or something. So I was starting to do my normal thing. Now bear in mind I don't normally play this low. This is tier 6. So this is the lowest I've ever managed properly in FM. Like I've done a couple of really brief spells but never really got sunk into it. So I kind of started with nothing. I was like, okay, I literally had to wait for the scouting budget to come back in so I could increase the range and actually just see players in the filter. So started kind of having a look around at players whose contracts would be coming to an end and might be available and getting the scouts ready. And then this is all live on stream and I had a random visit from Mr. Matt, aka Nerdphonic, in the chat, basically just saying, what the fuck are you doing? Not for the first time, I would say, either. That led us on to a conversation about kind of bringing players on trial. Again, something I've not really done. We've talked about it a good while back on the pod. And basically, yeah, Matt ended up just jumping in the Discord and we had him live on stream, which was lovely. And we did have some nice feedback as well.
My words were, why the fuck are you still fucking scouting at this level?
Yes.
I may have paraphrased
that
slightly.
was
There was
exactly
definitely at least 1 or 2 fucks in the sentence I used.
Minimum.
It's a normal weekend for Dave. A couple of fucks. You know what? It is mental that you even talk about it, though, Mad, because it's so, like, for me, especially with all the lower league I've done, and probably Matt's the same, which is why he jumped to your saviour. It's funny someone else helping you out with a save because you're struggling. But like, it's just so common knowledge, Matt, that like, bang. How many times have you had that message where you can't take any more people on trial because you've hit your maximum? Which is nuts, by the way. Like, my stadium's 6,000 people. I could literally have 6,000 people on trial at one time. Why is it only 30?
I wonder if there is like legitimate administrative reasons why a club cannot take more than 30 players on trial. As in, like, in real life, if there's a legitimate upper limit, unless you're putting on a specialist trial day. Even then, maybe it's like the most we can put on is like 2 like full squads or close to full squads. Because I have got it where I can get more than 30 players on trial at once, but you have to like stagger them. So I think you're only allowed to offer out 30 trials at a time.
Okay.
But then you can still have more than 30 players as long as they sort of accept. So you do have to be you have to game the system. I think it will stop allowing you to bring more than like 40-ish. I've not really found out because as Mad found out, I am pretty ruthless when it comes to my weeding out of players.
Mate, honestly, I think that's my favourite time of a season where you go and offer all these trials out. The fuckers haven't even got in the training ground. Nope. Turn around. You know,
Yeah.
like the Ali G sketch where he's like, "We've not got enough fit women in this." No, like when he's on border control. That's pretty much
Yeah.
what I'm
Back
like.
to Lithuania.
Right? I'm like, no, yes, mate, you come in. That is me.
You see championship, could be championship level player in the future. When you're in Panorama National, it's like, you're well fit.
Yeah, well fit. You're in some. It is with. It's a bit like my kid does like in the summer holidays he has to go to the football club, and he does like the football days. Probably every lad listening, or girl listening, has probably done a football like summer camp and all that jazz. They're limited because they've got a certain amount of coaches, and you have to have like 10 kids per one coach. I wonder if that's similar with the trials. You're only allowed 10 trialists per one coach, Matt. Maybe down there you've only got a limited amount because you've got to look after them and babysit them. That's all I'm saying.
Fucking hope not.
What? You got to wipe their asses and everything, Matt. But also, what you got to remember is, as we mentioned, trials, and obviously Mad's quite new to trials. Just because somebody rejects a trial from you doesn't mean they're not interested in signing. It just means that they think they're better than trials, and then you can still offer them a contract. Because sometimes it's quite annoying when you list all the interested players, you offer them a trial, and they go, "No, I'm better than that. I don't need to trial you," and then you can start actually sign them as well.
The good trial tip as well, even not just for lower league, but for higher level. If you see a free agent that you like, and we've probably spoke about it on the pod before. If you trial a player for a certain amount of weeks, normally they lower their wage demands quite. Like, if, say for argument's sake, there's a free agent, you just offer him a contract straight away, rather than offering him a contract. If you can convince him to come on trial for 2 to 4 weeks, after like 3 weeks, his wage demands are way lower.
Why do you think that is? Out of interest.
I don't know.
Is it
I've
just
noticed.
Not getting
I've noticed that the wage drop demand in, oh bloody hell, can't even talk today. The drop in wage demand has changed a bit with since the agents and the interaction with agents has become a bit more prevalent, because you kind of get locked in. And I had one player who I was chasing for ages. I had him on trial countless times. Gradually throughout the season, because I got so far in, by the time January came around, he dropped from like $2,000 to $1,000. But I think that was more time rather than amount of time he'd spent at the club. But I was still in throughout sort of the first couple of months when I was still bringing him in on different trials. The wage demands were still locked to what the agent had agreed.
What the agent discussion? Oh, that makes
so
sense.
I think for players that don't have agents, absolutely. But for players that do, I think you have to be a bit more careful in terms of when you're sort of or doing your pre-negotiation with the agent.
We talked about it, Matt, as well. The kind of phases or categorization of how you're doing trials right now. I'd known about the trials thing, but it was quite early. You know, in my head, I was like, we got to wait for all these players to come to the end of the contract. So I was still kind of end of May. So what I was doing was a bit of preliminary scouting, let's say. And then when Matt came in, we started kind of just bringing in droves of players, throwing out the offers to come on trial. And that's where we were talking about, Matt, the kind of phases. So let's say you make your 30 offers. If you get 10 guys come in on trial, great. Let's say the other 20, then 10 of them might refuse and just say, I'm not interested. Right. And then there's a question, like Doop said, would they be interested in joining permanently and they just won't come on trial? Then you might have another 10 who the club just rejects it if they still have a club. And then you might need to approach that differently, i.e. making an offer or checking the contract situation. Then you obviously end up with the actual players who just were never going to come to you in the first place. But there's a good bit of admin in it. I'd probably underestimated it in terms of the categorization, the organisation. But to your point, Matt, on stream, the efficiency and how much quicker it is, like Doop said as well, bringing a player in, you get 10 players in, 3 of them have 1-star potential once you get to see a bit more detail. Kick them out before they're even in the door, then you're freeing up space again, you go again and again and again. So yeah, I've started to dabble with it, but I didn't get to go live again, sadly, because of the sickness and all that. But really good tips.
It's the 3 shortlist process, I guess. And it's much more efficient than scouting, I think, at any level really, but predominantly at the level you're playing at, because of how shit your scouts will be. So within the same period of time of getting a scout report back for a player, you will have better knowledge, and you'll have also had a coach report from them. So you get the traits in there as well that don't usually come in until after you've scouted for a while, if at all, if your scouts are that bad. But the three shortlist approaches, you make your base list, which if you're talking about sort of end of season or start, between end of and pre-season, go through all of the released players that you're interested in. And to be honest, I will go for whoever the Premier League and then the other clubs that I know have good academies, and just throw them all in a shortlist, call it releases for that season. Then that's when you start offering the trials out. You'll get, obviously, the ones that join you, they just stay on that main shortlist. You'll get the ones that reject you, that you can either leave on the shortlist and leave a note, or add to a separate shortlist to know that you can either go back, rescout, or just, if they're going to be that good, or you think they're likely to be that good, that they're worth keeping on that main list, or a secondary list where you approach them later on in your save. And then you have the other one, which is where you've offered them a trial, they would have accepted, but it's fallen through. So you then add them onto a second one, so to go back round to re-offer them again at some point. So yeah, admin heavy, but I feel like it's the best way, and also I would say the most realistic way if you're interested in that sort of style of save, particularly in the lower leagues, of replicating how recruitment works in the doldrums, because they don't have millions of scouts, and the best way, or the quickest way they're able to bring players in, is absolutely via trial, like properly by trial days, or bringing in every single friendly a whole team of trialists. Because I know Kettering do that. Like they certainly did last season. They will, since they've been relegated again, they'll absolutely be doing that this season, where they'll just rinse and repeat, trying to bring in as many new faces as possible.
There's an incredible Twitter interaction or something out there, or picture that I've seen, where a club, I don't know, I'm not going to guess which club it was, but a club puts out their team sheet for a friendly, 1 to 11 is trialist. And then someone just quotes tweets it and just say, it's a great day for the trialist family. Do you know what I mean? So like everyone does that, and it just cracks me up every time I see it. But like, it is something that is done throughout everywhere, and even like you see it where people, they will just try and ask for anybody. These non-league teams, really low level, will just put a poster on the wall anyone's welcome, because you can just unearth something in someone. But unfortunately,
you also
don't have that option.
You also get trialists at higher levels as well, though. Like, it's not just you'll get players that have maybe been released by Premier League clubs, but maybe haven't had a huge amount of game time, or have had a long layoff with injury, and they get trialed at bigger clubs as well. So trials do rightly exist at every level, and shouldn't be just segregated to non-league. But it's a good way of fast tracking player knowledge that you don't really have a huge amount of, and especially when finances are tight, you can't really afford to screw up contracts, even if it's a part-time contract, because one player that you end up signing in is garbage means that that's a player that you potentially missed out on further on down the line, or you're then locked in for another year. So it's just a big, 400 quid at that level is huge, let alone the £1,500 that some of Mad's players are on.
What?
Hey, not by me.
You didn't get rid of them. You should have released them. Mutual consent.
Mate.
Tried.
1,500 quid.
So £1,500.
I'll finish with this. There was a guy, Gary Liddell, former Bradford, maybe Middlesbrough, centre back, 37, was in the squad when I started the save on 1,500, and I was trying to sell him.
Always someone
he
else's
had a bit of
fault,
value. Couldn't sell him. Then I was aiming towards the mutual termination. They wouldn't let me. Then I had an embargo, so I couldn't do anything, players in or out. And then as I got to the end of that, he got a 3-month injury, so I just had to wait for his contract to run out. Ridiculous. I know it's ridiculous.
See, when at the point he got injured, I would have approached him with the suggestion of, I need you to terminate your contract because you're too injury prone, or because of your long injury, we can't afford you.
But
you if you keep on going, you can usually get it. Like, you just have to be persistent.
You piss him off.
Mate,
that's what I would have done. I would have forced him out. He'd have gone into the under 21s, or B team, whatever it is, and then I would have just moaned at him all the time.
Just constantly on his back.
Yeah, and they'll go eventually.
True.
Yeah.
So that's where we are, Doop. I haven't gotten much further than that. Still all the admin stuff that I got to get my head around, because as I said, this is the lowest tier that I've managed at. So it's great though, because it's not only do you have the Regionair element, which I haven't spoken about. Now I've got all this kind of admin, shortlisting, trial heavy stuff, which is again another layer of complexity, which I like, even though I'm terrible at this game.
Yeah, we could have told you that without having to listen to you harp on for half hour. As a party, you've got a smile on your face, and it's not because you've been shagging. Tell us more, mate. Tell us more.
I'm in a
I
good mood,
wonder
man.
why.
Manchester United, obviously, I was still there this time last week. I sort of had a positive campaign with United after my first season there. And I was gearing up for my first full season. So last week, I gave you the update that we'd won the Club World Championship, I think. And this week, smashed through it, basically got the season done. So very quickly in terms of the competitions, Premier League, we won that. We won the league. 83 points, which is actually quite a low amount. Like, I compared it to some of the previous Premier League seasons. I think one season in 14 seasons, there's only one season where someone's won the league with less points. So it's quite a low points tally. Lost 5 games, drew 8, 25 wins. Man City was sort of neck and neck with me, because City I always seem to have a game in hand over City. So I was always like behind them by like 1 or 2 points, but then I'd sort of claw it back, and then City would play later that day and then go back top of the league. So I never really felt like I was in command of the title until towards the end of the campaign. And I think I beat him 5-0 in the league. It was like unbelievable. And basically that gave us a hand on the title. Carabao Cup was a little bit of a frustrating one. So I won that last season. That was like one of the first things I did as Manchester United manager in my first season there. Got to the final again this year. And we played against Liverpool in the final. And I think we lost. Yeah, we lost on penalties in the end. So we drew 1-1. Scored a 91st minute equaliser actually, and then we lost on penalties, which was frustrating. And then in the FA Cup, we also lost, and this time to Newcastle, who were like a really, really good side on this, Mad. You'll be pleased to know. So we lost against them. Just in one of those games, weird on FM. Like there's some games where I've beaten teams. Like towards the end of the season, I think I beat. If I go on my schedule, like my penultimate league games, I beat Brentford 9-0. I beat Fulham 6-0. And then the next game after that, I lost to Newcastle 1-0. Genuinely didn't turn up. I'm like watching the game, like, what the fuck is going on? And then to give an update on your team, Matt, Blackburn, who I said were like the definition of a yo-yo team. They went down with just 17 points in the
17,
end.
at least they
you know
didn't
what?
derby.
Their first game of the season, I remember it. Yeah. No, but it came up. First game, this is mad, right? First game of the season, they beat West Ham 7-0. Yeah. And I was like, shit. They won 7-0. They didn't win a game till December then after that. Imagine that. Like, you're a Blackburn fan thinking, this is the fucking year. We're going to stay in the league. And then they drew twice and lost every single other game in the league and cup until December.
What happened to West Ham?
But then,
conversely?
So, yeah, it got towards January and I'm like...
What happened to West Ham? Like
West Ham went down as well, but 35 points. So the 3 teams went down: Blackburn, Brentford, and West Ham. But like Millwall had come up and they stayed up quite comfortably. Ipswich had just stayed up. But the top 6, top 7 is pretty much as it is IRL, to be honest now. Although I say that Palace just got Europa Conference on this as well. But it was getting to January and I knew we were in a strong position. Like very like looking good in the league. In the Champions League, we'd sort of flown through most of our games because with the new rules, you play the majority of your games before Christmas, but then there's a couple going into the January window. So the teams that we got drawn in the league phase were quite difficult. So we played Barca, who knocked me out the year before, Lazio, who are a really good side in game as well at the moment, Rosenborg, Shakhtar, Arsenal, AC Milan, Benfica and Cologne, and I think we won all bar one of those games, like smashed Barca, beat Lazio. So we got to January and I was like, yeah, we're in a good position now. So I started looking on the transfer window and seeing players interested. Jude Bellingham's still knocking about. Attributes are just like ridiculous. Get him scouted 5-star at the age of like 34. I'm like, yeah, I need a piece of that. Contract running out at the end of the season. I was like, well, let's see if I can offer him a deal. Offer him a deal and see if I can maybe bring forward the transfer. So we did that. He accepted the contract really early on in January. and then they wanted like 40 mil for him. I was like, shit, like I'm gonna leave it for a little bit, see if I can sell one of my fringe players and then bring him in. Did that, sold us as English central midfielder. Then Real Madrid wanted just 16 million for Bellingham. I was like, yeah, get in the fucking door, man. Like, welcome in. So he looks unbelievable. And then my other only weak position was right back. And I signed, again, it's a real player, Michael Coyote, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Coyote? Italian
Fiorentina,
right
no?
back. Probably, yeah.
He was
So
on
again,
the.
looks brilliant. He's been playing.
Sorry to interrupt you. I think he was on
Go
that.
on,
You know
sorry.
that FM put out a tweet a couple of days ago of the most signed 11, I think, and he was in that
Yeah,
list.
he might like he's really. So I'd assume he's like 19
Yeah, he
IRL or
was in that
something.
list. I'm fairly sure.
But 33 in my game. So very similar situation to Bellingham, where doing really well. And again, same thing. I think I had to pay a bit more for him. Yeah, I paid 25 million for him to come in. But still, just like I thought, that's proper right back. So my team from January onwards just looked fucking ridiculous, like just so good. So into January, still going really well in the league, through into the Champions League. So we get into the Champions League round of 16. We draw Real Madrid, who are a good team, but squeezed past them last year. And I'm like, shit, like away from home first leg. I said, I've just got to keep in this tie. Beat them 4-0. I was like, yeah, sound. Then second leg ended up beating them 3-2. So I was like, yeah, happy days.
Score?
Then get into the court.
Did Bellingham
Say again.
score?
Yeah, he scored 99th. No, that's a different game. Yeah, he scored 72nd minute in the home leg and scored in the away leg as well. But he didn't celebrate. He just walked. One of them. And it goes like it's got the commentary line as well. So yeah, he scored both legs, and then we played Barca in the quarters. So we went to Nou Camp, and we went down to 10 men before half time, and then we went 2-0 down. I was like, shit. Got a goal back to make it 2-1 going back to Old Trafford. I was like, okay, sound. Gives us a chance. Beat them 3-0 at Old Trafford. My home form this season has just been like absolutely ridiculous, like how good it's been. So beat them 3-0. I was like, cool. Then get to the semi-final. We got Man City. Now, Man City are a weird one because on paper, their team, like, bear in mind, I've been neck and neck with them in the league. Like, I've got an unbelievable record whenever I've played them. But I mentioned the league game just now when we beat them 5-0. That was in the middle of the 2 legs. So I played City 3 times in a row. So I played them on the Tuesday the 27th, Saturday the 1st of May, and then Wednesday the 5th of May. First leg in the Champions League at home, beat them 2-0. Went 1-0 up right at the start of the game, and then just kept missing loads of chances. I was like, and I think about 80th minute, they went down to 10 men because I had a player that came off injured. I was like, shit, we've got to take advantage. And we ended up scoring 96th minute to have a 2-0 lead. Then went into the league and beat them 5-0. I was like, sound, like that's the league title done. Then the second leg, I swear to God, the laptop almost went flying. I was at work at this point as well. I was getting angry, like aggravated. So bearing in mind, I'm 2-0 up. So you think, right, I shouldn't be losing by 2 or more goals. I shouldn't be. They've got Evan Ferguson, takes them 1-0 up. Jeremy Pino sends them 2-0 up. I'm like, crap. Then we get a goal back before half time to make it 2-1. I'm like, sound, okay. So we're in the tie. We then go 4-1 down. So we're out of the Champions League at this point. I'm like, fuck. Then at 84th minute, we score a goal to get back. So we're 4-2 down, but it's going to extra time. And then 90th minute, we score a winning goal. The winning goal on aggregate, but we take it to 4-3. And it's the most I think I've ever celebrated a loss in my life on Football Manager. We lost 4-3, but obviously got through to the final. And after that point, like literally after that game, beat Brentford 9-0, like I said, beat Fulham 6-0, had the FA Cup against Newcastle, which we just didn't turn up in. Then beat Millwall on the final game of the season 1-0. And then in the final, we played Lazio. Now, we beat them quite comfortably in the group, like the league stages, but like their team is really good. Like they've won Serie A, they're like a really, really good side. And after 15 minutes, we went 1-0 down. So bearing in mind this season, I lost the Carabao Cup, I lost the FA Cup, I've lost however many Continental Cups now, like finals. I'm like, this cannot be like this save is cursed. Like it's got to be cursed. So I went 1-0 down after 15 minutes, and then João Veloso scored for me in the 60th minute. I was like, yeah, back in the game. And then we got a penalty. Veloso, 69th minute, puts it into the back of the net. And we held on. We fucking won the Champions League. So I'm actually buzzing off. I haven't literally not clicked. I saved the game literally and not played another day since yet, so might just retire now. 2 Champions League,
Finally.
take it. No, but yeah, but it's a bit annoying that it's a European one second. But now I've obviously got to go to Asia, South Korea or North Korea now to South America, North
Say
America.
North Korea it might be
North
struggling a
Korea.
bit.
Yeah, I was like, shit. Yeah, that's gonna be a good laugh.
You could just say you've won that one,
yeah,
Dave.
I'm just
It'll be
looking
fine.
There's no coming back from
yeah,
that.
yeah. So I've not left United as of yet, but I'm just looking at some jobs. There's nothing really. I might have to have something that I'm going to build up to again, like a bit of a couple season challenge. But United team were good, man. I was just worried when we went 1-0 down. I thought, yeah, this is a sort of deja vu moment at the moment. But yeah, loving life.
Congratulations, Dave. I'm very happy for you because it's been Doop. How
Thank
many
you, man. Thank you.
how
thank
many
you, thank you.
pods did we do where it was this time next week, this time next week? What's the story with that bet actually? Are we expecting something there as well, Doop?
We
Oh yeah.
we
Why
didn't
have you
go all
reminded him?
quits. I have got
No.
a tweet off of his Twitter, which I will use in probably not due course. I'll probably wait. And you know, when you see Dave unexpectedly tweet something funny, it's probably me.
That's why I've not bitted Duke when he's like slagging me off. Well, not even slagging me off, like embarrassing me at the start of the pod. I've got to let him do it because if I bite, he'll be like, right, Dave, you
I
don't
just,
can't
can't
wait
wait
to
now.
see
you know,
the-
I just,
So got to
I
let
just
him do
love
what he
the
wants.
power. You know, I just love the power. I've
Biding
got
his
that
time
one
for the
over
first VAR call of the season.
Hi,
Yeah,
hi
yeah.
Wolves. Hi Wolves. Any chance I can have my season ticket back, please?
I've got a
Yeah.
tweet. I've got a tweet. I've just got to wait for something to happen, and then I'm sending him the tweet.
Oh, no.
So I've got the tweet ready to go. I've Grammarly'd it and everything, so we're good. Because Dave's quite good at English. So, look, Dave, I'll be honest, mate. Yeah, congrats. But let's not forget, we are in June. And you're not even halfway through yet.
Yeah.
But I've got one question for you. I've never done it that way. I've always kind of gone like to the lower or the lesser cups
Yeah.
first. Do you think you're going to find it difficult now getting a job in Asia?
So this is what I thought, because this used to be a thing. Well, I don't know if it's still a thing where
Too
you're almost
good?
like
Yeah.
too good for the jobs.
I wouldn't say you're too good. I'll just say
So
you're
I'm not
probably
too
just
sure.
quite a high reputation.
So bearing in mind, at United, my contract is 105
Yeah.
grand a week, whereas like before, I think even in Brazil, I was on about 15 grand a week.
I think you'd
So-
have to probably
And
make sure you haven't got a job to try and get there, if that makes sense. You'd have to resign.
oh yeah, I'll leave United. There's no point in me sitting around at United now anyway, so I'll leave United.
It's almost like
See
you need
what
to
happens.
work your way down. So maybe like go to Newcastle next and then go to
Just want
Blackburn.
to do a
and then
Mourinho.
work your way back down.
Yeah, just do a Mourinho.
Yeah.
You'll end up at
Mourinho
Fenerbahce at
just
some
like go
point.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was saying, Mad Newcastle like they did really well in the Champions League for a bit as well. So they got to, I say really well, they got to the quarter final, but in the league stage, I think they were like neck and neck with me. They like doing really well. Just seeing if there's got anyone that you'd know of. Karim Kanate, the striker,
Yes.
plays for him.
Good player.
João Rego, whoever that
Mm.
is. Diego Cochran, American
Don't know
goalkeeper.
him at all.
Never heard of him. So yeah, got some good players, man.
Kanata is a good player.
They saw actually saying that they signed a centre back who's like unbelievable, like genuinely unbelievable. Signed a centre back for 194
What?
million,
Ooh.
rising to about 250 million
What?
from Napoli.
Jeez.
So is there a way to check records, transfer records on this
Yeah.
game or not?
But what
Yeah.
do you want to do? League record, do you? Or club record?
Well, either a league,
All time.
league record or world record. I don't know.
You go to, if you're going for world transfer record, you go to world, and then
Yeah.
it should be transfer
Major
history.
transfers. You all transfers, and I think you
Transfers, yeah, I got that.
could.
I've got to go like
I think you.
I've got to look per year.
Yeah, it only shows you per
No
year
way. What?
in that screen anyway.
Yeah. So Christian Sass, the one that Newcastle Newcastle signed 2 players, but that he's 194 million rising to 268 million.
Christ.
Last year was Lazio signing someone 97 million. And I'm gonna have a quick flick through, see if there's anyone that has got to be the highest one. Surely, I've never seen anything as high as that. On all of these, 211 million Liverpool signed someone for. Straight up, 211 million.
Yo, I'm just looking at mine now because I've got my save open ready. Xavi Simmons, PSG to Real Madrid, 155 million.
Yeah, I've got one higher now. Alex Bonanno, who I'd assume is a new gen. Yeah, he is Italian player. Inter to Man City, 208 million, rising to 272 million.
That's what's ahead of us, lads.
The rest are
All
quite
ahead of us.
tame.
Yeah.
Man City signed Endrick for 125.
Well, that's it. I haven't really. I've got one transfer over 100 million. That's it.
Sterling to Al Hilal in 2025 for 107
Wow.
million. Fucking hell.
That sounds dodgy.
Yeah, that's it, man. Al Hilal got serious dollar, man. Just signed Kimmich for
They got
108 million.
Leroy Sané here for 109 million. That's nuts, man. Money.
My word.
Anyway, talking about money, let's talk about Cirencester because we have money. Last pod, we mentioned it. We talked about it. We kind of said that we're going into the championship and it was going to be difficult. We lost our first 4 games of the season and then we never looked back. We had like a 6 or 7 game spell playing teams that were in and around where we would thought that we would end up, and we just won them, and we just kept winning. We had some really strange games where we'd win 4-3, and we scored in the 96th minute to win against Sunderland, for example. We had another one where I think we had like something stupid, like 22 goals in one stream that we had scored. It was just nuts. But it was games like I said, we had 5-4, we had a 6-0, a 4-3, another 4-3, a 4-4 Luton, which they scored an own goal in the 94th minute after we had a player sent off. It was just a crazy season. And we actually gained promotion to the Premier League in April. And then we beat Burnley on the final day to win the championship. And I was thinking, right, here we go. Okay, in the Premier League, just sit here for one season, build that bank balance up, and we are going to be golden. Our initial transfer budget was 20, I think it was 19, 20 million. We had wages gone from £68,000 a week to £700,000 a week. So like it all bumps up, you know, we're laughing, right? Proper laughing. We're currently spending £710,000 a week. Just like money is just astronomical. The projections are just like this. Bang. I was going to make a sex reference about Dave's knob again, but I better not. So everything's on the up, right? We're living the dream. We get into the Premier League, and I'm thinking, right, so the rep's going to take a massive jump now, and we're going to be golden. No. So Mad talks about how he's come up from the lower ranks. We've come up from 2 divisions below the National League. When you look at our reputation at this current moment in time, we are the 4th best team in League One level reputation, and we're in the Premier League. So there's every single championship club above us, and there's 3 League One clubs above us in reputation. So off the bat, I thought that's not going to be too bad. Like, we've got the Premier League tag. Everyone knows we're in the Premier League. It's going to be fine. So we start scouting, and we're scouting, and there's not a lot coming up, and we're struggling. We sign a couple of wingers. We sign a 33-year-old Daniel James from CSK Moscow. We don't laugh; it gets better. We sign a 33-year-old Dilrosun from Heerenveen, and I'm thinking,
Oh yeah,
this
Javiro.
this is like the best we can get. And then our board come out and say, look, our stadium's not big enough. We need to do work on our stadium. So we're going to get an £8 million loan out. We're going to extend our stadium from 6,000 total capacity to 6,000 total capacity.
Dave,
What?
cheers, mate.
Okay, so let me explain.
Mhm.
In the leagues, you can have a certain amount of standing and sitting down, and in the Premier League, you have to have a full sitting down capacity. And ours, you need 6,000, so they just turned them all into seats, basically. But it's fine. They're going to give us a stadium, and we're going to go and rent a stadium off somebody else. You know, we've got some massive clubs by us in Cirencester. You go a little bit down the M4. You could go to Cardiff. You could go to Bristol. You could go to Reading. No, they're going to send us to fucking Luton, which is 2 hours away from Cirencester. We are at Kenilworth Road. We have just taken over Luton's ground. Luton got relegated to the Championship that season.
See, this reeks of the geographical things not being set up correctly in the database. Absolutely reeks of that, because I've seen some of the databases in the past where people haven't done that, and when it comes to like the segregation of leagues, once you get the like Vanarama, like national, like north and south, and then when you get further, like the regionalisation of the leagues becomes more and more. but I've seen it on some databases where clubs go all over the shop and the game can't work out what the fuck's going on because it's got trying to fit like 18 teams into the Southern League and 26 into the Northern bit, and it can't do it, and it's just chaos. So I wouldn't be surprised if something's gone on there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not tragic. It's not tragic. At the end of the day, like, yes, we're actually...
I mean, it's tragic. You got to go to fucking Luton, mate.
Yes, correct. That is tragic. But luckily, we don't live there. We're in and out. But, like, we have...
Just like Dave.
we probably only once as well. We have an expanded stadium now, and obviously we it doesn't look like, I'm looking at my finances now, it doesn't look like we're actually paying a stadium rent. It doesn't look like I'm paying anything to rent the stadium. So maybe that's that's why we went there. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, so we are, we're taking, it's nearly 11,000 people that fit in that stadium. So we're earning more money for our fans, for the club. Fantastic. Let's go back to transfers. I am fucking struggling. Like, I ain't even going to beat around the bush here. I've picked up a defender that my scouts state that he's a decent League One player. I've got Daniel James and Dilwerson. And I'm looking through, and I can't find anybody. And we are like, I'm talking, we're in August. Okay, we're in August here. And I've just spent my last bit of money on 2 wingbacks. I bought a lad from Japan who is all right. I'm not going to lie, he's all right. But my scouts say he's a leading League 2 player. And he makes Dave look good. And then I bought a chap from the Valencia B team who actually looks pretty decent. Left back, he has taken Dave's spot. Sorry, Dave. But he looks pretty good. And we're laughing. I then go to the board and I ask for more money because who doesn't want more money? And we luckily we get it. They give us like another 20 million. Everything's hunky dory. I've got 11 days left of the window, and I cannot find anyone to bring in. And we are searching, and we're searching. 5 hours I spent on Friday night going through. I don't have attribute masking off. No, I don't have attribute. Yeah, I don't have attribute masking off, so I can't see fuck all. So I'm literally going off like 3 attributes with a window of about 15 to 18. It's a really wide. 12 to 18. It's a really wide window. So we pick up these couple of lads from America. So there's academies in America. So basically, I went through every single academy. I think there's 8 or 9, and I just went for their hot prospect. And I saw that a couple of them had some good determination attribute, and then I just picked them up and I got them on a free contract. And it was just a way of getting them in the door without knowing a huge amount. So those 2 came in. I've then instantly put them out on loan. One of them looks the bollocks. I'm not going to lie. He looks pretty good. A 20-year-old striker with 15 finishing, 13 composure, 16 acceleration, and 18 determination. He looks pretty good. Maybe one day he'll be half decent. The other one, not so much. We don't need to go into that. And then we are left with literally needing a miracle or 2. So we're going through, we're picking a few players up. I'm buying players from Croatia, Argentina. That's Croatia too. A French lad from Le Havre. I mean, literally, what the fuck? And then we also bought a Uruguayan striker called Rafael Zapata, who looks the business. 19 years of age again, 15 finishing, 16 composure, 14 acceleration, all this jazz, and he's 5'6". Imagine spending like all your hard-earned money just to get a striker the height of Curty. It is shocking, all right? It is shocking. So,
haven't heard a Curty height joke in so long.
Welcome back.
We have them weekly too.
So it's on the surface, it looks painful, right? We need a DM. The last one I'm gonna go through. We need a DM. I can't find a DM. I found a chap from Manchester United that we can bring in on loan. He rejects us. He will not come to us. I then go to Stoke, who've just got relegated into the Championship, and I pick up their Mexican DM for quite a lot of money. Then Stoke, who are in the Championship, go to Manchester United and sign the guy on loan that wouldn't come to me. So they've got the 10 million that I spent on their DM, and then they've got that chap on loan. And it's like, what the bloody hell's going on? So it's been tough. It's been very, very tough. The Premier League have been very helpful, though, because our first game of the season is against the current league champions, Manchester United. Brilliant. We start off with a kickoff glitch. The striker passes it back to our DM, hoofs it up long. He taps the ball round the keeper, score 1-0 up. After the first minute, we are 1-0 up, and I'm thinking, oh, this is pretty easy. Cue the 30-minute hat trick from Alejandro Garnacho, which normally I'd be singing his name and his praises. But yet again, absolutely demolished us. We did actually only lose 3-2 in the end. We got another goal quite late on, but it was a promising result, but yet a terrible result. We needed to pick points up. Maybe Man United was probably the game we weren't going to pick points up. We then went to beat Fulham 2-0, which was quite nice, and we drew 1-1 to Sunderland, who came up with us. We also drew 1-1 to Brentford. We lost to Arsenal in the EFL Cup, third round, which is pretty tough. And we've been on a bit of a bad run recently. We played Brighton, we beat them. We lost to Villa. We beat Wolves, and then this is the run of the week. Arsenal, we lost 4-0. We drew 1-1 with Everton, and we lost 5-1 to Man City. Our next couple of games are Chelsea, Newcastle, and Liverpool. So it's a bit tough. We are currently sat 13th in the league. We are on 12 points after 10 games. I only need 30 points, and I've got 28 more games to go. So fingers crossed we can stay up. And if we can stay up, then I think everything's going to kind of right all the reputation should be sorted. But at the moment, crikey, it is fucking hard. And out of all of the times I've ever done a save, and I've ever done like a down to up, it has been brutal. This is probably the hardest save or the hardest preseason I have ever done.
Dude, it's weird. Each season you've kind of come into it and you've got promoted and you've said, we're way behind everyone else, and obviously you signed some good players and tactically got a spot on to get the promotions, and the reputation is completely not at sync with where you are in terms of being in the Premier League. Do you think the game, is there anything the game will do to correct itself, to restore balance, or do you feel like it's just going to take a long time to get that balance?
Yeah. I think it's only going to take time. We did have a conversation in stream about actually getting the editor up, the in-game editor, and editing it, because, I mean, yes, we have gone from whatever, I think 8 promotion or 7 promotion in 9 seasons or whatever it is. But like, it would be a fucking documentary on Netflix. Like, I'll be honest, it would be, there would be reaction to this, it's not, there would be a reputation boost somewhere in real life. Look at Ipswich. They've had 2 promotions in 2 years, and
Wrexham is probably another good example of that.
Yeah, and they've got a fucking documentary.
That as well, but like that's a real life example, albeit through owners throwing money at it. But it's the same situation where their reputation. No one knew who Wrexham were, like, outside of people who follow football, and now all of a sudden,
people my missus was watching the documentary the other day.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I mean,
or Hashtag are another example who've sort of been they're probably now at the sort of the level where you started, but they've had features on BBC website, things like that, about their sort of rise when they've had a match against in the FA Cup qualifying rounds and things like that. So
Dorking would be another one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Dorking, and also because of their interesting situation with owner also being manager. Yeah. But irrespective of the accoutrement that comes with these different clubs and why they've got sort of additional notoriety from what they did have, there does need to be something done about reputation and how it adjusts throughout, and allowing it to be more realistic. Because even if the club itself, they don't deem to be justifying a position, if you're all of a sudden in the Premier League, and your reputation is still in League One like yours is, Doop, or equivalent to someone in League One, something has gone wrong there. And I would assume it's tied to the ground as much as the club itself, as well as level of players and all of that sort of thing, are probably taken into account. But it's obviously not right.
And vice versa as well, Matt. No, if I was to go in and purposely relegate Arsenal 7 seasons out of 9,
I just playing the game normally, I guess.
Pretty much, yeah. It would go both ways, I would have thought,
Oh no, and it should do as well. If especially when when you're doing a penty like Davies and you get 30 seasons in, you shouldn't be really having the same 6 or 7 in the top 6 or 7 in the Prem. You should be having, when teams drop out, their reputation should drop in line with that. Yes, there'll be a larger club, but look at the likes of, I don't know, an actual real life example would be a Leeds or a Blackburn.
Yeah.
Probably Leeds more like really is a better example, because when they dropped out to League One, they were still getting good crowds in Ellen Road, but in terms of world reputation, dropped significantly because they were no longer in the Premier League. At least at that time, you didn't have the TV rights that are available for the EFL now across the globe. So they wouldn't have had as many global eyeballs on them as a club. But whereas Doop now, in the Premier League, you're guaranteed to have people that who are watching it in Asia know who Cirencester are, even if they couldn't point out on a map. I mean, Doop probably can't. He lives there, so...
I mean, I can. I mean, we've played 10 games and 4 of them been on the telly. So I don't know whether that will start seeing things. But I will say this. One thing I will say is everything is in line. So you look at the... I got a nice news article about commercial income revenue of the Premier League. And Manchester City earned £254 million a year on their commercial revenues. That's 165 times more than I do. At 1.5 million that I earn. So that's like in line, you know what I mean? And you can see the staggeredness of City at the top and Cirencester, Sunderland, Fulham, and all at the bottom. And then when you look at the league, how much we spend per wages, we spend 700k a month. 700k a week. Manchester City spend 7.75 million pounds a week on wages. So it is all kind of, it is all kind of in line.
Well, the finances can be relative, but like the reputation is the thing that is always going to tie. Like if everything else is tied to reputation, you're fucked. Like until you get to a point where you've been in the Prem for so long, it eventually catches up. But it puts you on such a backward foot compared to everyone else because you aren't on level footing, and whilst it's. I think it makes the chase so much more sweeter once you eventually do start winning and catching up. It probably breaks you a bit until you get to that point because there's not really a lot else you can do to sort of combat it.
And it's not a money thing. Like, it's not a money thing at all. You look at my projections and we're talking 100 and, at the end of the year, my balance is going to be 100 mil. It's not a problem. It's not going to be the issue. The issue we've got is the fact that we've got all that money, yet we're literally shopping in the middle aisle of fucking Lidl. Do you know what I mean? We're not shopping at the big table. We're getting in that middle aisle and we're kind of riveting through whatever no one else.
That is good though. That middle aisle.
It is pretty good. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. But not when you're trying to buy fucking Premier League standard footballers, Dave. It's pretty shite, to be fair. The knockoff brands.
25 quid air fryer, yes.
I got a left back for £11.50.
Can he play right wing? Yeah,
we've got Ronaldo at
Russell
home.
Hobbs left back. Yeah.
Ronaldo at home is.
It's just
Ron Lado.
It is tough, and we have to go.
Russell Hobbs left wing.
We nearly had a wonderful left back right back partnership of Dave Azzopardi and Jordan Millwood, which is. For those that don't know, that is Millie from the Streamer Showdown.
Millie Party.
He did all the work in the background of the Streamer Showdown. As Matt sat there going, "Did he know?" But no, look, I'll be honest. I'll be honest. It's gonna make it sweet. And what we have done is I've picked up a load of young players because nobody else will sign. And hopefully those young players will come through and become very good. But again, it's not because I don't need to sell them, because the money's great. I just need to keep hold of these young players. And every single player that I signed on a contract, I think we signed 14 players in the end. Every single one wanted a release clause. Every single one wanted a relegation release clause. And it's just that no one's got the faith. No one believes we're going to stay up. And even the players are like, I'll just come over just to get my foot in the door and then I can go off somewhere really cool. But yeah, our highest wage is £39,000 a week, and not a single player in the Premier League in any starting 11 gets paid that. Everyone else gets paid more than that. So we're shit.
But you are.
But do you know what? We're not as shit as Fulham, and I hate Fulham for this. So Fulham hired a new manager. He got promoted from the Championship with us. via the playoffs. They finished 6th in the Championship. Then they got promoted by the playoffs. They've played 10 games in the Premier League. They are bottom, and they've won 1 game, and they've lost 8, and they've drawn 1. However, they've sacked their manager after getting him up. Like, how harsh is that? And we're mid-table. Like I said, we're 13th at the moment. And I thought, you know, I'll be interested after seeing Fulham sacking their manager. Love to see what the board want to say about me. Every time, A+, because we've been doing so amazing. We're down to a B-. They're not overly impressed with me. They're happy that we're playing attacking football, but they're happy that we're playing entertaining football. But they're not that impressed. And it's like, what the fuck can I actually do to make you happier? Which is, you know, a common occurrence in my life. Anyway, I think we're just gonna have to quickly jump to a quiz, Mad, and we're gonna have to bring up the Euro stuff next week once the Euros are started. Because
Now allow the quiz. I reckon do 10
You wanna do
minutes
10
of Euro
minutes of
stuff.
Euro?
now.
Yeah, we can hold
Okay.
Oh, do we have to? I mean, yes, I want to talk about Adam Walton for 15 minutes.
Yeah, well, so this is the thing. We're not going to get all
3.
that we want. Let's bring it next week. We'll have a little head up, because if I tell you what, we'll record it before the Euro starts, so we're actually all fair and with our predictions. But we will do the quiz now and then head off, because I'm tired. So Mad, over to you, my mate. And make sure it's fucking good. There's a lot of language in this one, Dave. You're going to bleep them all.
Nah. Fuck that.
Fuck them kids.
Well, it is a Euros quiz. So
What,
that's
Eurovision?
the Eurovision. No, you can do this one together, lads. It's
Yeah, let's do
straightforward enough. On my screen in front of me, I have basically 10 years of the last 10 renditions of the Euros. All I want to ask you lads for is the top score of each Euros for the last 10 renditions, which would be from now obviously back to 1984. And I think between the three of you, you'll be able to get it right. So every 4 years, obviously, we've had Euros. I'm looking for the top score at each tournament, starting with the most recent. And as I said,
Harry Kane?
you can work together. So we'll kick off with 2020.
Harry Kane.
Who was top scorer at 2020? It was not Harry Kane.
Oh.
Mbappe?
It was not Mbappe.
Cristiano Ronaldo?
Can we just shout names out and then from all years? Because I can't remember.
Cristiano Ronaldo is the correct answer. He did tie 5 goals with Patrick Schick, but was given it because he had more assists.
And he's got
So
less of a
Cristiano
square face.
Is correct. Right.
Doesn't look like
That
Willie.
was...
Yeah, Willie.
I
I
think
was
it's
about to
the
say.
first time Willie will, and probably the last time he'll ever get mentioned on this podcast. But great content, by the way. I think
Yeah.
he's awesome.
He's next week's guest, isn't
Shit, Dave, come
Bye.
on.
Spoilers.
he? Oh, sorry, guys.
We'll have
That
to
was
cancel him now.
2020, obviously won by Italy, but we won't say what happened in that final. 2016. Who was the top scorer in Euro 2016?
How did you get on in that
Mbappe?
tournament, man?
It was not Mbappe.
Griezmann?
Was he even a thing?
Antoine Griezmann with 6 goals. Of course, it is correct. In
Shout.
2016, won by Portugal against France. Then we go back to
Damn.
Euro 2012, which was held in
Poland.
Poland and the Ukraine.
Ronaldo?
It's not Ronaldo.
Bro, I can't even remember what happened yesterday, let alone in 2012.
Spain won it.
Who won that one?
Spain did win it. They won it 4-0 against Italy in the final.
David Villa?
Torres.
Torres.
Fernando Torres is correct. He was
Oh,
actually
sorry.
level with a few players, including Ronaldo, but he was given it because, again, he had more assists. So that's how they separate them.
Tremendous.
Next up, we go back to 2008, to the Euros that were held in
Or Switzerland?
Switzerland and Austria. Nice memory, Doop.
Switzerland.
Switzerland. So that's Spain winning it
Who
again.
won this one? Spain as well?
28.
Spain
2008,
indeed
yeah.
winning it against
David
Germany,
Villa.
winning 1-0.
Yeah, David Villa.
David
Go on,
Villa
Villa.
with 4 goals is the correct answer.
Hey.
He won one of
Matt.
them.
Yeah.
We go back 4 years to Euro 2004, which was
Oh,
held
Portugal.
It was Greece.
Greece
in
won it.
Portugal.
Greece won this one,
in
Dave.
and won by
We
Greece
talked about this
against
last
Portugal.
week on the pod, didn't we? My father-in-law
It
was
2
there.
weeks ago, yeah. Who was the top scorer in Euro 2004?
Ronaldo.
Raul.
Incorrect.
Closer.
Figo.
Incorrect.
Not only Greek players.
Nah,
that
they,
smashed it
not
I
out,
really
think
you
they
know.
were very lucky to be.
Um,
as they did.
So Greece played Portugal
Rooney,
in that final.
no.
It was neither. It was a player for neither of those teams. I think they got to
What,
the
they
semi.
scored the winner.
No, not him.
No, neither of those.
Player who would have been playing in the Premier
Who-
League.
Who did
Oh,
you say?
what
Matt?
about? Oh, I was going to say Zidane because he scored 2 against us at the start.
Incorrect.
Henri?
Incorrect.
I said Raul and closer.
Would have been playing in the Premier League. What, in 2004?
Like, Henrik
Yes,
Larsson.
he was
An-
plying his trade in the Premier League at the
Anelka?
time. I can give you the club if you like.
I don't know why I was about to say Drogba. Like, that's the biggest like L I've ever seen.
He is very
Yeah.
Ivory Coastian.
Oh,
Uh,
Lampard? No, Gerrard?
no.
It wouldn't be English, would it? Oh
It
shit!
is not English. I
Give
can
us the
tell you
club, man.
the club he was playing for at the time was Liverpool.
Torres again? No.
Negative.
Milan Baros.
Oh,
Morientes.
Baros is a good shout.
Milan Baros, Czech Republic with 5 goals.
What a baller.
Was the top scorer.
Yankola and Baros.
Great shout. Next, we go back 4 years to Euro 2000, which was held in
Oh, I don't.
France.
No, France won it.
Same.
France. Did win it. They beat Italy in the final in extra time.
Henri, Trezeguet.
It was held in the Netherlands and Belgium.
Zidane,
Netherlands.
Anelka,
Incorrect.
Henri, Trezeguet.
Incorrect.
Drogba.
uh,
I'm joking, obviously.
In the year 2000. So, as I mentioned, in the final, that year was France against Italy. However, the top scorer for the tournament did not play for either of those nations.
I was 8.
I'm struggling to think who the nations are. So
I was barely born.
So I've
actually, this
added
is one where I
England
can claim that I wasn't that old in 2000 either. So
You know the worst thing is this. Yesterday I saw a tweet with all the top scorers from the years, and I
Didn't read
didn't
it.
take no notice of it.
I saw
I
one
didn't
that had
read
all
it
the
out.
winners. So that's
I can give you his nation or club. depending
nation.
on
Go nation
fancy.
first. Go
I
nation.
think you'll get it with
Yeah,
the nation
nation.
quicker. Nation is
then.
the Netherlands.
Clivert.
Patrick Kluivert with 5 goals is correct.
I mean, that's the only Dutch guy I can think of at that time.
Mm.
Robin.
Yeah, I was about to say.
We now rewind 5 years to Euro 96, which was held in...
England.
Shearer.
England. English shirt. Yeah, I was going to say shirt. Yeah.
5 years.
5 years. 96. Germany.
4 years.
Beat 'em.
Was it
Did I say
Shearer?
5
Got
years?
that.
4 years, sorry.
Yeah.
4 years.
Yeah, so.
With 5 goals, it is Alan Shearer. Clearly, I'm reading 2 things at once. Is correct. When Germany beat Czech Republic in the final. 3 more to go. We'll go back 4 years to 1992,
That
which
Mark
was
won it.
held in...
Shout out
shit.
to Pete Schmeichel.
It
Scorer.
was
Yeah, Mark
held
did win.
in
He scored, did he? In that tournament?
and they weren't even meant to be in the tournament. Sweden. Held in Sweden.
It was held in Sweden, yeah. So I have 4 players.
did he score, Matt?
We have 4 players who
Goal.
scored 3
They put the
goals
ball
in
in
that
the back of the
tournament.
net, eh?
I'll take any of them.
Laudrup.
Ooh.
That's a good shout. Martin Darlene.
Incorrect.
Thomas
Bergkamp.
Brolin.
Oh, incorrect.
Yes, Thomas Brolin was one of them with 3 goals. What a shout. Leeds United legend. And there was a
Darlene and
couple of other
Brolin were a
players.
lethal partnership at that point
Mm.
for Sweden.
They did well in the USA.
Brolin.
94.
Martin
Well,
Darlene is also one of those players that never really got. He moved to Blackburn, and then he broke his back and never played again.
Wow.
And also didn't get an
Wow.
insurance payout. I think because it was like a known thing, something it was something weird. Yeah, not great.
Jokes.
Fucking hell.
You could have also had Dennis Bergkamp or Karl-Heinz Riedler.
Oh,
Now-
they
You
did
say
say
that, you said
Bergkamp.
Bergkamp.
to be fair.
Did he? Sorry.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a stabbing, to be fair.
We
Weird.
go
How
back
did he get
to
he doesn't
Euro.
fly. How did he get to Sweden?
Don't know. Don't care. We go back to Euro 1988, which was held in...
No idea.
I know
That's
this.
literally
Germany.
the year
West
after
Germany,
I was
right?
born.
In West Germany, correct?
Mm,
A final that
So-
was won by the Netherlands against the Soviet Union.
So
But can you
it'd be-
tell me who was the top
yeah,
scorer
it'd be
that
Van
year?
Van
Basten.
Basten.
Yes, he scored
Marco
a
van
banger in that
Basten.
game.
Van
he did.
Bastard,
think.
yeah.
Big shout.
I think he scored that
Huge
banger.
shout. Raymond the Bastard.
Thunder Van Basten, correct. He had 5 goals in that tournament. And last but not least, we go back to
True, man.
1984, where
Michel Platini.
Michel Platini, go on the
Oh, was it?
day.
It was in France, and France won it. And Dave calls
in
Platini.
France.
What shout? I knew he was also scoring one of the years.
Or
and I thought,
Tigana
I
was
didn't know.
gonna be my guess.
I like it. I mean, I had no idea.
Bosh Dave, 9 goals.
I was gonna go Drogba.
9 goals in that tournament.
So
Drogba might get it
years
this
before
year.
you
We
were
can
born,
Eto or
Dave.
Drogba, but I'll go with Platini.
Which
Dave
one
at the
had you
back
were born
post.
in '84, Dave.
That was a twink.
You were a what?
I'm gonna
Sorry.
die.
That brings
Continue.
that brings episode 356 to a close. Matt, by the way, I mean it's an easy quiz for you, but it was a good quiz. So, GG. You can find the links for each of us in the podcast description or by visiting 5starpotential.com, where you can find all of our latest Football Manager content, including the full list of our Euro 2024 Wonder Kids to watch. We also have a Euro
Shout
2024.
out to Mad for that thumbnail, by the way. Definitely that the
Yeah.
Oh,
got
it was a quick one. Come on, it was a quick
graphic
one.
design is my passion vibes.
I'll be
Fucking
completely
hell.
honest. I tweeted it out pretending that I
Clip
wrote
art.
it, and then I saw them from there, and I nearly deleted the tweet.
I've got COVID. I've been sick. I wanted
Oh,
to
here
get
we
it
go.
out there. Give us a
Apparently, I didn't know this, and I'm sure Dave didn't know this or Matt, but we have a Euro 2024 Fantasy League running. So check out our Twitter page for more information on how to join. Did you know?
Sorry, Dupe. I completely derailed your
It's
your
fine.
outro there.
It's fine. It's fine.
I just had
People have already asked for you to do it again anyway, so it's fine.
Well,
Yeah,
you
back
reminded
next
me.
week.
You
I'll do
saying
it.
that reminded me that about the. I meant to mention that earlier about how awful those thumbnails are. So figured
I
I'd
know.
better get
Does
in
it
now.
really matter?
Oh,
Does
mate,
it
this
really
is
matter?
There's a
It
few
does
things
really
in this
matter.
world, Matt, that you will absolutely get away with if you are stopping me. One, being taking the piss out of Mad, because it's one of my favourite things. 5-Star Potential is available on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and most of the popular podcast apps and platforms, with a new podcast released every single week. Thank you all for listening. There'll be more from us next week. Say goodbye, gentlemen.
Goodbye,
Bye, gentlemen.
gentlemen.